Hello and welcome back to part 3. Now, after part 2 we left off with completing this much of our main level. Obviously this isn't the final draft and not the full detail, but we are doing the basics of the level right now. We have still a lot of work to do, and it's still going to look even more awesome than it is right now. So let's go back. Okay, so I think next we shall work on this circle area and maybe finish the veg coming down there. Okay, so we'll finish the veg here first. So we get our paint tool and we set the brush size to 1. And obviously remember, path paint style. I always use this path painting in all my levels I make because it is very, very effective. So I do recommend that you get used to using this kind of method, as it allows you to add more detail and depth really into your texturing. Okay, so we've done a bit of painting there, we'll put some trees down. So obviously, randomly, but not too randomly, and not too close to each other. So now we're going to get this one, we'll put these in between. Excuse me. Oh, remember this tree is half the normal size of it, so we've got to put the tree height and width to 50, which will bring it down by half, which will give it the bush effect, which is more better than just using like grass. Okay, so now we've done that, we can do the first layer of the grass, which is the first grass we ever put onto our terrain, and it's just painted at the front of the trees. And then we change to a 7 brush with that brush selected, and then we just paint in the back. Now keep in mind you want to cover the patchy areas with this grass. You don't want to try and get it all in the tree, you want it around the tree. Okay, now with that we're going to change the brush size to 2 so we can get some of this detail at the front. If you have been following these tutorials and they've helped you in any way, then please feel free to leave a comment, send me a message on YouTube, and I'll send me a link to a picture of your work from this tutorial. I'd love to see what you guys have learnt from this tutorial. Now, obviously this is a deep, heavy park with the vegetation. Obviously most parks have a few trees, but I decided to go for a more depth of a park with the veg, since it's going to be something to look at and not an actual level for like a first person shooter or strategy or whatever game you plan to make. I have upped the veg by at least 3 times the amount what's normally in a park, but I did it for a reason, and if you look at the result, it's quite effective. Okay, so now let's start working on this center area. There's going to be quite a bit of veg trees and plants in this area. So obviously it's already been painted, but we can add the last texture in to sort of cover up of some areas, like those grassy patches. We don't want those. Okay, looks good. Okay, now we can start placing some trees. Remember to set the tree height and width to 100. I just want to go around with these trees, like that. And maybe we could add another tree and get a big tree in the centre, surrounded by all the other trees. So if we search a tree, tree 19 looks like a big tree. Yeah. But if we set the tree height and width to 100, that will create a very massive tree, which is what we want. We want a nice big tree in the centre. Now we'll set it back to 100. And then we'll continue with the other trees. Like so. Get these trees. And as I said in the previous tutorial, if you have any questions, please feel free to write a comment or send me a message, and also send me messages on the type of environments you want me to do tutorials on. Okay, so now we're going to start with the grass going around the edge. Remember, try not to get it onto the pavement or the path, depending on which you want to call it. We're going to do that. Go around this nicely. And we can go back and edit this later for more detail. Right now we want the basics. You can create a level from detail to start with. You know, you can work on one little area with all the detail that you want, but then you're not going to be so creative on the rest of the level, so you want to rough out the basic of a level before adding detail. Okay, now we're going to put some of this veg in. Obviously this is going to be a high veg area. That looks nice. Very lots of trees. Obviously you've got that one big tree standing in the middle. I'm going to paint this one now, but obviously we can go closer to the edge of this one. Obviously still trying to get some in the back. Obviously once this tutorial is complete, I will show you how to do a camera animation to show off your work. Now camera animations, at first you hear about them, they seem hard, but they are very, very easy. I thought they were difficult to start with, and within 5 minutes I could do them. They were very, very simple. Okay, good. So we've got some nice veg going on. Okay, we should sort this area out for veg. So we're going to go to the paint tool and change the brush size to 1 and do the path paint texturing. Okay, now we can apply some tree. Oh, we could just finish off this area here actually, and then start applying the trees. And remember, try not to have straight lines when you're doing the path texturing. You want to mix it up. I know I've probably said that like 20 times already in this tutorial, but there's nothing wrong with making it clear that textures don't normally appear straight unless they're like roads or something. Roads are fine to be straight. Excuse me. Let's put a tree there, tree there, tree there. Get risk. Actually, no, we'll put one of those bushes there. And there. Obviously, we want to try and fill the gaps in. You know, we kind of don't want the player to see what's on the other side. We want the player to explore. You won't make a maze game and make the bushes see throughable. If that's not even the right word, but you know what I mean. You want the player to explore the region, look around every corner, search every square inch of the level, and that's where you can really make the level stand out and show its true beauty of all the assets you are using to create this environment. The most important thing, it probably would be the vegetation for environments like these. Obviously you want to get the right amount of vegetation, the right kind of vegetation, and put the vegetation in the right location. If you nail that, and you nail the environment, and it will be a very successful environment. See, there's quite a little big area to cover, so a lot of little bushes around. Not to worry. Okay, we're going to go for a 3-brush size to start with the outer bush grass layer. Nice. Okay, gonna go across here. You're probably thinking about all the different types of shaders you can use in your level. Now shaders give the level the environment feel. Use great shaders. These are all probably like tree nature shaders, which are really top quality. For the bushes, you probably have an alpha roll off, which obviously
sound muted
texture up, so it gives the really nice bush feel or tree feel. Okay, well, just get rid of that off the road. Okay, now we're going to go for a 7-brush. Go deep into here. Oh, that happens sometimes. Now also remember, keep saving your work. If you're going to go like for dinner or something, go and have a snack, you know, just pop into the shops, make sure you save your work before you go. because sometimes Uni has a thing where if you're idle it sometimes crashes. I've had it a few times. So just remember, always save. Okay, this is looking really nice. You really have a deep autumn nature feel to this park. It's a really deep natured park which really could tell a story. Nature can tell stories. I came across a game called The Light. If any viewers on this video has heard of that game, that was a very fantastic environment game. Not entirely sure on what the story was about, but it was a very good game. Okay, now I'm coming in close. We can see that this needs to be moved. Okay, now obviously this is a very small area, so we're only going to have little bushes, a few little bushes, maybe just 4 little bushes, and then we're going to have some nice veg. Obviously we're going to have, actually no, since there's no default round area here, we're going to put some of that down there. Go. I mean, for environments I can create, I can show you how to make some medieval environments, some rocky environments, a few open world environments, but those tutorials will be probably round about 40 hours in total long, which will be very, very time consuming for me, and don't think I will have the time to do a tutorial like that. But small environments like this working on now would be absolutely fine to work on and make tutorials for you guys. Okay, so we got that there. We could put a tree in, but the tree could mess it up, so we're not going to. For now, we're just going to leave it how it is. So we've got that nice water fountain with the animated texture, which is fantastic. Okay, right, so as you can see, we've done that much of the nature part of this. Not sure if we're going to put nature in here. Depends on how thick the nature is in here. If the nature's thick here, then we won't need to put anything there, or maybe put some light nature there, just to show that there's something there at least. Okay, let's go for the paint tool again. Set to 1, we'll do our path painting. Like that. A lot of games that have been made in the Uni engine use this pack. For instance, the new Slender game, Slender the Arrival, used this pack, and as you can see, it was very effective for the game. It really wasn't change from the first one to the new one, but the first one really had the scare in it. It had the jump scares. I mean, you could have very bad quality in textures and much more, but the game could still be scary and still be fun, and that's what games are all about, fun. Obviously for big companies it's all about making the money, because they got to keep their big company business going. But if you're an indie developer and you just want to make a game that's fun, then create a great storyline or just great gameplay. Even if the graphics aren't like top quality, like AAA quality, people will play it. And as you can see, we're still continuing with our vegetation, our first layer of vegetation. Normally I place the trees first. We've got to fill the holes with this texture, which shouldn't take too long. Now obviously I've mentioned before about using a one-size brush. It really allows you to apply more detail into maps like these. Since this is a very small map, only 500 by 500, but we're only using about, I don't know, 100 by 50 of the terrain. The rest of it is going to be for distance. You know, show that the environment is surrounded by more environment and not just environments surrounded by, well, a blank location, which is not what we want. We really want to show our environment. Okay, so we got that there. Now we're going to get some trees. Make sure that tree height and width is at 100. Place one there. Another one there. I apologise for the mouse clicking. I do have a tendency to click a lot and move around a lot in the Unity engine, but that's the way I work. I really move the mouse, move the camera around. I like to get every angle and every view of what I'm doing, which in some cases is good, because that means if you notice something that you shouldn't be there, then you can change it. But if you're not like looking around what you've already done, there's a slight possibility that you might miss something important that needs to be fixed. And this is how normal common bugs are made, simply by just forgetting about a location and just moving on to the next part. I always go back to where I first started off, so I'll probably go back over there and check it out quickly before I continue, just to make sure that it's all okay. Because there are quite a lot of top quality games, like AAA games from big companies, that do have a lot of bugs in the levels, and you want to try and minimise that as much as possible. Okay, so now we've gone for the 7 brush with the big brush size tool. Now we're just putting some more plants or grass down to show off all the vegetation we have. There we go, look at that. We really have got a level coming along, and that's what we want. We want a nice level. Let's go back to 2. Put some detail in the front. Doesn't matter if it's a few little plants at the front. The more detail at the front, the better, because that's what the player is going to focus on the most. Now, I hope tutorials I'm making aren't too boring, or I'm not talking enough about what I'm doing. I'm trying to educate you as well as teaching you and showing you what you can do with this engine, with these kind of assets. So I'm trying to mix and match all of my knowledge with you guys. Yeah, currently that's what we have, and it looks pretty good. You know, we got the autumn colour, might change the colour a bit more red in the lighting. So as you may see, I have 2 lights. I have one which is my main light and a sublight. The sublight is used to light up the shadows. If I disable it, you can see it really darkens the shadows, but lighting it up really brightens them up. And we want this to be a bit more orange red kind, and this needs to be more orange. You know, mixing these colours together really gives an awesome orange red yellow blend colour feel. Yeah, now if we play with all this veg around here, you got that, which is really nice. Obviously I'm thinking about readjusting the wind zone for the trees. We could do that now, because you see they're moving quite weirdly and the grass isn't moving as fast. So we're going to find wind zone, which is there. And we're going to adjust. So we're leaving wind main at 1, turbulence 0.1 and 0.3. Maybe we'll have to turn the wind main down. And we really want the trees to start moving around a bit. Obviously keeping it looking realistic as well. There we go. Remember, before pressing the play button, copy the component, because it sets it back to before, and then paste component values. There you go, it runs nicely. Okay, I think this will be it for this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, the other tutorials, please like them, comment on them, and if you like the videos, subscribe. Many more will be coming. I'm open to any suggestions you guys have. Thank you for watching.